I am joined this morning by a woman who's been doing fantastic things in the sweet science of boxing. She's not a fighter herself, but she is a promoter, and she was the brains behind the Rise of the Champions 4 series. I think we saw close to 10 bouts on that fight card, a hugely successful event, just highlighting the space that boxing in Zimbabwe is right now. I'm joined by Lindsay Earle, a boxing promoter. Lindsay, good morning, and thank you for making time to sit with us on Morning Rush today.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
All right, obviously, Rise of the Champions, the highlight, the biggest talking point was Leah Perry successfully defending his title. Maybe let's start there. What did that mean for you as a boxer and as a key part of this boxing family in Zimbabwe to see Leah continue his ascendancy, not only on the continent, but maybe put himself in a position to challenge for even bigger honors?
You know, it was a very big fight for us. Obviously he won the belt in December, and that was incredibly exciting. But you know, a defense fight is, you know, it has to take place within the fourth month of having won the belt. So you're under a lot of pressure to for that second fight. I think I found it even greater pressure perhaps than the first fight. The opponents, as you get better also. So that also, you know, that adds pressure. It was much more touted. There was much more support. So again, you know, all that stacks up. And there were high expectations countrywide for him to succeed, for us all to succeed as a team. So it was, and Sadie was a very good opponent. And to go 12 rounds for any boxer that's a long and grueling fight.
Obviously, that was the icing on the cake or on the card, if we're looking at the fight card. But I was also looking at the fight card and looking at the different results of the different fighters. And one thing that really jumped at me was the fact that I think just about every Zimbabwean fighter on that card won their bout against some of the guys who were in from Malawi and different other places. How satisfying was that for you as a promoter to see our local boxers not only go toe-to-toe, but enjoy success in the ring?
You know, incredibly exciting, because the local boxing scene here is extremely robust, and there are a lot of boxing academies, and there are people like Ali Perry, who is Issa's eldest son and Alia's older brother, who runs the Otto Boxing Academy, and there are many boxing academies here. All of those coaches give of their time freely. They coach people who can't afford to pay them, and they have stables of boxers that they coach for free. So they do a great deal for their communities and for boxing as a whole in Zimbabwe. So to see the different academies fielding their boxers and succeeding, for them, you know, for them as academies is incredible, and for us, you know, as a nation, was incredibly satisfying. And it you know, it's worth mentioning that for a fight like Alia's, the judges, the ABU person that sanctions the fight, all get flown in from other countries. So it's not a Zimbabwean hosted fight, judged by Zimbabweans, sanctioned by Zimbabweans. We had a Malawian, a man from Tanzania, a lady from Uganda, a man from Namibia, a man from Malawi. So it is, you know, it is judged and looked at incredibly fairly, and I think that's always worth pointing out.
All right. I know, just looking at boxing in Zimbabwe, as vibrant as it is, but when it comes to boxing and women, Zimbabwe has had a complicated history. I think it's maybe just a little over a decade since we saw Monalisa Sibanda make history as, you know, the first sort of fighter to sort of go pro or be recognized in terms of boxing circles. We've seen Kudakwashe take money, Chiwandire enjoy success, but from the behind-the-scenes side as well, I think it's only recently, you know, I think you're one of the first female promoters I've had the opportunity to interact with. How did you find yourself in this space, and what was that experience like for you? What drew you to promoting?
I've known the Perry family for a long time. I think I've known Issa Perry for 16 or more years, and and I've always been very interested in the sport of boxing. So it was, and then I've worked with the Puris with King of the Ring, which is a charity box and dine event, and I met Alia 2 years ago, and to see Alia fight is something special. He is, he's an.
Is he the muse for the promotion?
I mean, you've seen him fight.
Yeah.
He is. Ali is something special, and I think that, boxing promoting, it's like any other business. It needs backing, it needs support, and then it needs somebody with some of those skill sets to look at it and say, how best can we do this and how best can we put this together, and not so much from a sporting perspective, but from a business perspective, and say this is how this can work, and if we take these steps, ultimately we can get to this place, we're at step 2 of 100, but we're at step 2. So,
speaking about steps, obviously he has, like I can call it, conquered Africa at his level with these, back-to-back African Boxing Union titles. But as a promoter, what do you have lined up for him next? Like, what are the immediate goals, either locally in terms of maybe creating a series of events, and even just being able to get Alia particularly bigger fights, maybe challenge for the world titles and stuff?
I think as far as the amateur side goes, we did host Issa, Alia's father, did host in January an amateur boxing tournament at Sturt Hall in Mbare. So we're going to continue to try and promote in that way. For Alia himself, I think we need to be looking at a WBC belt in time. He needs to rest, of course, and that needs to be well planned, and we need to see if that's possible, and then go from there. And yes, of course, the goal is always how far can we get up this ladder and how far can we go? Because as a team, we really believe in Alia, and we believe that he has the wherewithal to go all the way.
Obviously, you've been playing a supporting role, not just to Alia, but to quite a few local fighters in Zimbabwe. What kind of support would you like to see, not only from the boxing fraternity, but from the sports ministry, from us as the media, and even just the larger Zimbabwean community?
I think the media have been incredible, and they have given us a lot of support, and they've really come out and given of their time and effort to promote and support. I mean, I would really like to see other individuals like myself or corporates take an interest in an individual boxer or a boxing academy and get behind some of these people, because they are incredibly talented. And if you become part of it, what you get in return is incredibly fulfilling. And to see a young Zimbabwean that may not get their shot, and to be a part of that journey is well worth doing. And the barrier to entry is not, it's not so expensive that some people can't afford to be part of that, or band together as a group and syndicate and be part of supporting a boxer or an academy. And I hope that in time, in a very short space of time actually, I hope after this the second big event, that people will become interested, and there will be a groundswell of interest from individuals and corporates to be involved in the boxing space.
Lindsay Earle, a boxing promoter, the brains behind the Rise of the Champions of 4, which was headlined by Alia Piri, successfully defending his African Boxing Union lightweight belt. And maybe just before I let you go, maybe to aspiring fighters out there, I know there's a lot of Zimbabweans who love the sweet science of boxing, and maybe they will also want to come under the table, work with you, get their fights promoted. How do they get in touch with you?
I'm always around the Piris. I'm not hard to find. So, and I am working tirelessly in my way to try and encourage other people to do what I'm doing and to get involved in boxing. And I think that, I think that's going to happen. And I think the more events that we hold and the more people that are involved, the better and better the events will get, and the better it'll be for the fighters ultimately, and the better for us to raise the flag and continentally be the centre of boxing. And if you have a great boxer somewhere in Africa, this is where you want to send them to be trained.
All right, thank you very much for making time with us this morning. Thank you for continuing to champion the cause of Zimbabwean boxers, the likes of Aaliyah Piri and so many others who are just trying to live out their dreams. Lindsay Earle there joining us for this Choose to be Awesome Tuesday as we continue to celebrate women doing amazing things, not just in our community, but even in the world of sport.
Konapo, ipapo pa ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294, the place to be.